Hey. Oh my goodness, I haven't done this in forever. You guys, if you're checking this, if you do happen to find this video, okay, haven't done this in a while. It's probably been like a year to a year and a half, but I saw this, somebody sent this to me. Um, Gosh, a couple days ago, a close friend of mine, and I thought it would be worth mentioning and maybe a good chance to say hey to some people that I haven't been able to connect with in a really long time. Update you on what I've been up to, why you haven't seen me in like forever. And so, anyway, I'm just gonna do it. I'm gonna lay this out real quick. So I thought it was pretty awesome, as you probably heard me say in the last one. I'm really focusing more on the mantle of education now in a practical way. I've actually started teaching. My background's math, and so I now am really doing all online services, working with a lot of homeschool families who are sick and tired of the mess that we see happening in our public school system, the agenda where they're trying to indoctrinate kids or whatever. They're pulling out their kids because they know this is not a safe environment. And so we really want to start really vocalizing the need for parents to take control of their kids' education and really just shield them. They are the first teacher. And so I'm all about people who have policies that's going to give kids, parents rights, that's going to give them choice, that's really going to stand for freedom. And so that's a message that I really respond and resonate with. And so if you check this out on the replay later, that's fine. If you catch me live, I understand I haven't said anything about a year, so I don't know who's going to actually see this live, but I thought maybe you might come on your news feed if I get lucky, and you can respond when you see it. All right. So just real quick, if you saw the title on today's video, you basically saw how basically Trump has actually laid out a pretty 10-point plan of what he plans to do when it comes to education, and got my attention. I thought it'd be cool to do a video on it since I haven't really been able to do these in such a while. I've had my hands busy for sure. But anyway, it's just great to be back, and hopefully somebody will stumble upon this and we can say hey and connect again. But anyway, so number one, respect the rights for parents to have control of their education. That's going to be a policy that he laid out. There's 10 principles, okay? 10 principles that he's going to prioritize when it comes to the mountain of education, okay? And I'm interested in it. Number one, respect parents' rights for parents to have control. Number two, kind of goes along with it, empower parents to hire and reward great principals and teachers, as well as fire the bad ones. Even did a little allusion, if you watch the video, where he was talking about where basically he's talking about firing, like saying you're fired, almost like a shout out to the to the days of old when he was on The Apprentice. Number three, ensure classrooms are focused on knowledge and not political agendas, please. Number four, teach kids to love their country instead of hate their country. This is pretty clear stuff. Number five, I love this one, maybe one of my favorite ones: bring back prayer in schools. Okay. We should have done this, about 80 years ago, 90 years ago, probably around the time the American educational system started failing. It was probably around the same time that we took prayer out of schools. And now you wonder why people are confused and don't really know what they are. So anyway, moving on. So five is bring back prayer in schools. Six, create schools that are drug free. Easier said than done, but that's going to be a priority, of course. Number seven, which really, in my opinion, corresponds with points one and two, you want to have school choice prioritized. He even goes on to say how his initial, his goal is to basically abolish the Department of Education and get this monopoly, get this really macro government centralized control sector over education and bring it back to the states. We want states' rights. We believe that Tennessee knows how to educate Tennesseans. Idaho knows how to educate Idahoans. California, do y'all know how to educate Californians? It depends on who you elect out there. Just kidding. But it's about states' rights, and really the people who are closest to the actual kids, they know how to educate them best because it's really relational. I'm all about relational teaching. And so you're not really going to know anybody super well from the DC educational department level. All right. Number eight is to ensure students have access to project-based experiences, which is really important depending on what their career field is, but really just learning how to belong with people, learning how to get an overarching goal to basically get those soft skills, but also really get a dose of the real world. That's not necessarily just sitting around and waiting to get graded like a piece of meat, get an A, a B, or a C. It's really to put them in a situation that they're going to really be involved in most of the time in the real world when they're in their jobs, right? Number nine is internship experiences. He's going to prioritize that. And then, of course, ensure all students provide excellent all schools, excuse me, provide excellent jobs and career counseling. All right. So Donald Trump has a 10-point plan. He's got some of them that are going to be easier to do than others. Drug-free environments. That's something that people really want to prioritize. Bringing back prayer. That would be a mammoth move. I mean, that's almost as big as, abolishing abortion as far as I'm concerned, but really respecting the rights of parents to have control. And I think practically, I've said this 1,000 times, but listen, if you control the power of the purse, all right, if you control the power of the purse, then you really have all the power to get things done and actually help the kid. When the money is going and feeding through the government sectors and then they get to choose how the money gets spent, it's usually going to be at your kid's expense. Okay. But if the money is going and funneling through the parents, the ones who love the child the most, who know the kid the best, and can really keep a good hawk eye, view on their child and know what needs to be done when, then you're going to get better educational outcomes. It's just common sense. Plus, the parent then can fire who's doing a bad job and hire who's doing a good job. And it really creates a environment of competitiveness that makes people have to do a better job by their kids, right? So if you're watching this, if you're able to catch this, I haven't posted, guys, in a long time, like a year and a half. So comment, say something in the chat. If we used to connect a lot on when we did a mega more on a consistent basis, we'll see what God has. I haven't really had the time or really felt like the Lord or the Father wanted me working on the videos as much as he wanted me working with kids and actually helping them and really kind of taking back what the devil stole in our nation. Our kids are the future. And if we keep doing things in a way that suffocates the life out of them, I mean, putting masks on kids, and when the research says this is not something that's necessary, when you're forcing kids to do a bunch of stuff that's not really that important, that's really more about adults trying to check off boxes, and when you have these political agendas that flat out are just trying to confuse children, this is not okay. Okay, so I know I got some people watching because I can see the little the status there, but say hey to me if you will. Feel free to comment. I just wanted to connect with people. You might be wondering where I've been. Just to be clear, I work now for my company that I started about a year and a half ago, right around the time I stopped doing Mega as much. It's called morrismodel.com. That's our website. The company's Morris Model Education, and we really focus on all things math, right? So I do virtual tutoring. We do some online programs, especially high school level Algebra 1 and Algebra 2 programs, special ones called Algebra Made Simple. It's like a 10-week course. We mix up a mixture of like videos with lessons and online assessments and ways to really give kids a foundation. Because really, when you look at all this craziness going on in the world, the politics, what happened with COVID in 2020, you had a lot of kids that just that year was a loss. It was just a wash. And so they have all these gaps and they're trying to push them into grade 8, grade 9, grade 10, and they're not really prepared to enter high school grade years because of what happened with the pandemic and especially math, which is my background. It builds on itself. So it's not like you can skip a year and then just jump in and everything's fine and peachy because you're learning now world history instead of US history. It really connects from the prior year. And so that's what I've been doing. It's been that God's blessed it. I'm super happy I'm able to provide for my family, and it's really a miracle. I'd love to share that testimony and that story, but I want to say hey to you guys. Looks like we got our first hello. Good to see you. We've missed you. Good to see you, BE. I haven't like I said, I haven't commented on here in a long time, but missed you guys too. It's not like I hadn't wanted to comment on here, but it's just been something where I got to focus on what God's laid out before me, and I got to stay at His flow and His pace, right? And sometimes you put something on the shelf for a little bit because you're going to pick it back up. Sometimes it's time to do something else. What's up, Kim? It's good to see you. We've missed you. Appreciate you guys. Missed you too. Thank you for commenting. It really means a lot to me. Just to connect with you guys again. Part of the motivation of just getting on here real quickly is just to connect with so many of you guys who I've gotten to know, and in a sense, you've been my extended family in the digital space, right? And this has been a big, a cool way that we can connect with people all over the country and even really the world. But like I said, we're in unprecedented times. I'm telling you straight up, I still believe 45 is coming back. I can't tell you how many times God throughout a given day, I'll see the number 45, and that's one way God always communicates with me is I'll see the word of the answer to a prayer that I'm asking. He'll put it in front of my eyes. And so one of the ways I've noticed the Lord, like I'll be watching a show and, the main characters will be on the 45th floor, or I'll be watching a game and the score's like 4-5. And so you see like 45. And he's been doing it again lately because I think we're getting really close. The rubber's meeting the road. one way or another, 2024 is right around the corner, and they're going to pull their stunts and their stuff, and it's time to really take a stand and get real about it. And that's really what I believe God's telling me. Yeah, you said be. I still believe he's coming back too. He is, man. And so, I mean, if you look at what's going on, it makes no sense that he's been kept as long as he has. With the amount of warfare against that dude, you'd think, they you'd think something worse would have happened to him by now, but no weapon keeps prospering, right? And so we're in a war. A war can be messy, it can be sticky. There's battles that you win and then battles that you lose, but you win the war in the end, and you have to go for it. And you have to understand that this is bigger than just any normal election cycle. This is about overturning, in my opinion, a corrupt world system that we've been under unknowingly for probably hundreds, if not thousands of years, but probably at least hundreds of years. This is an unbelievable time to be alive. And so we all have to be doing our part. I really firmly believe that God's, told me my part is to take education and be a voice in some capacity for that, but also to do, to do what he's called me to do in a practical way. And so, like I said, I work now with some of these people who have unfortunately suffered the consequences of the decisions from the Biden administration and really in administrations before then. The whole Department of Education, the whole thing just needs to go away. I don't think it's ever was established for righteous reasons. There's so much damage. If anyone's ever been a teacher, who knows, even with the Bush administration, No Child Left Behind, there's so many things that were done that they really aren't in the kids' best interest. And you got to have it. Kids aren't like a one size fits all kind of thing. It's got to be relational. Okay. Relational teaching, relationship is key. And the ones who know the kid the best are typically the parents, and therefore are going to be best equipped and qualified to make decisions. And we need to make sure we're putting our policies in a venue where relationship in that element can be more easily, where it can be a little more adaptable to those situations, if that makes sense. Anyway, but God's in control, y'all. Keep being faithful. But if you feel like God's nudging you to do something, I just tell you, it takes all of us, and you got to obey and do the part that you're supposed to do. Esther had her part. Mordecai had her part. Other people, I'm sure, that never got written about in the book were doing their part. And even if you read the story of Esther, to use that as an example for those who don't know, that was during a time where you're looking at the extermination of an entire people group, which I don't necessarily know that we're not too close to that in some ways ourselves, if you know what I mean, right? And so it was like such a time as this, and Esther for some reason found herself in the palace, right? And Mordecai found himself to be basically working in the king's court, and somehow, because of where they were strategically placed by God and the decisions that they made, and then getting serious about praying, fasting, and really going at doing what they can do while trusting God to do the part that he can do. It all came together, and it wasn't like super easy. It wasn't like God just did everything. Esther had to take some steps of faith, and if I die, I die, right? And fortunately, God honored her step of faith and protected her. But at the same time, a lot of people think if you went to Sunday school that it was just nice and peachy, and the king just said, "Oh, okay, well, I'm just going to reverse the law, and we're not going to exterminate the people." But that's not the story. In fact, back then, the kings couldn't even change their own decrees. It was actually something that it was a bit of a predicament, right? But he added an extra decree. He said, okay, when this day happens, when the enemies of Israel are going to be able to exterminate them, I'm actually making a law that these Israelites can defend themselves and they can kill anybody that tries to kill them. So God always, in my opinion, has a counter move to the enemy's move. Okay, the enemy has a move, but we sometimes give too much glory to the enemy's move. We have to take a look at the one who is counter moving. And I believe God's been counter moving this entire time while the New World Order, can I say that on YouTube? Why these globalist agendas have been put together from the pit, by the pit of hell, and are been put together that are at our expense, in my opinion, to cause some similar dynamics like you hear in the story of Esther. But God's counter moves have always been in place. People have always been strategically in place. Trump's in his place. I'm in my place. You're in your place. And we have to be doing what we can do while we trust God to do the part that we cannot do. Okay. And so anyway, I'm not going to just go on too much longer. I wanted just to connect for a few minutes. It's been about 15 minutes, unless you got some other topics you want to talk about. But just know, Trump's not just a man of talk. He's really a man of action and words. He's cut that way. And he, if anything has been shown to us the 4 years he was in office, it was dude's not playing around, and he's going to he was going to start making some moves, and he's not necessarily going to broadcast what he's going to be doing to the enemy so that he can be effective. And that's the kind of leadership that we need. I think it's the leadership that is God given. And I think y'all just need a reminder to hold the line, vote smart, but don't back down. And when there's an opportunity to shed light on what's really going on and somebody asks a question and you can pour in some truth, the Bible says, seek and ye shall find. And so it's hard dealing with family. It's hard dealing with coworkers. It's hard dealing with these people in the world that just can't see what's up. But when they ask a question genuinely, wait for that opportunity, trust the Lord. When it's time to talk, you're going to know what to say. And I think God's going to honor their seeking. And we just got to pray for those opportunities while doing our part, right? So I don't know how often I'm going to do any videos. I really don't know. God might have me do it more often again. He might not. But I wanted to touch base with you guys, let you guys know what's up. Say hey. If you get a chance to watch this on replay, like I said, please comment even late. I just want to connect with some people. Shout out to those of y'all who know who you are. I love you guys, as we always would say, till the wheels fall off, baby. And it might look like the wheels off. It's not off yet. There's still hope before me. And for the joy set before me, we're going to run the race, right? And so I encourage y'all to do the same. Love you guys. Have a great Friday evening. I'm going to peace out on that. Can't wait to see you guys' comments, just to say hey and connect again. I hope you guys are doing great. Blessed. Stay prayerful. Stay positive, and just know this thing's not over, and God is going to wait till he can get the glory. And read the book. It's going to look crazy before God does his thing, so that you can give him the praise and the glory. And God did it, and that's how it is. It's just how it is, right? So anyway, till the wheels fall off, baby. Good to see you, Kim. Good to see you, BE. Those of y'all watching on replay, David, Tina, John, y'all know who you are. Love you guys. Till the wheels fall off on the next one, y'all. Have a great Friday. Peace.